It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the San Francisco Giants. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday evening to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers and Giants, Game 2 of the 162, and a pretty tough act to follow for the starting pitchers. Clayton Kershaw, along with Tim Lincecum, magnificent yesterday, although it was a 5 o'clock game and you really felt sorry for the hitters in that bright sunlight. Tonight, under the lights, it will be Chad Billingsley on the mound for the Dodgers. Left-hander Jonathan Sanchez, who has improved dramatically, he'll be on the mound for the Giants. Last year, the Giants won 10 of the 18, so the Dodgers start off this year with a win last evening. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this. CalHyundai.com today. You buy your Southern California Hyundai dealers. Now's the best time to save on the cars the experts are talking about. Visit MySoCalHyundai.com today. Buy Shakey's, win a pizza party for 10. Go to Shakey's.com. Buy CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. And buy AT&T.
We are minutes away from first pitch here at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers and the Giants with Steve Lyons, Patrick O'Neill. Everything worked well last night. Kershaw was great. Kemp drawing walks, stealing bases, scoring, and now it's up to Billingsley to continue.
Yeah, keep it going. I think if you've been a Dodger fan over the last 4 seasons, you've gotten the opportunity to see some great processes between two pitchers. We watched Billingsley go from a guy who had a little bit of mental toughness issues and some mechanical issues. Now he's got that straightened out. And Clayton Kershaw from 19 to 23. Sometimes he looked lost. He doesn't look lost anymore, does he?
Bills and Sanchez coming up next on Prime Ticket. Vin Scully has the call. We'll see you for post.
rivalry has defined two franchises and divided its fans. From their beginnings in the East to now living in the West, the moments that define their histories seem inevitably intertwined. From the shot heard round the world to a firm point while rounding second, from a grand slam heard up the coast to a home run record that may never be broken. But how does a rivalry continue to grow? Why may this season be the most intense of them all? Well, because of this. The San Francisco Giants are the world champions. Yes, it's the start of a new season, but for two teams, it's the next chapter in one of sports' greatest rivalries. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you, wherever you may be. Here we are at Dodger Stadium for Game 2 of the season, and Game 2 between the Dodgers and the Giants. Second game of a 4-game series, with 3 more upcoming on the road not too far from now in San Francisco. For the Giants, the champions of last year, but the old refrain, that was last year. And for Bruce Bochy and his ball club, after winning 92, they start off this year by losing their first game. They have lost, for a little while at least, their ace in the bullpen. They've lost outfielder Cody Ross, who's on the DL as well. And Barry Zito, after being in that automobile accident, might be listed as questionable for Sunday. But nevertheless, here's their championship lineup. Andres Torres in center field, Freddie Sanchez at second base, and Aubrey Huff in right field. Buster Posey hits clean up behind the plate. Thad Pearl, who homered last night, is in left field. Pablo Sandoval, the slimmed-down panda, is at third base. The rookie Brandon Belt is at first base. The senior member of the firm, Miguel Tejada, is at short. And the left-hander, Jonathan Sanchez, on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Chad Billingsley. At 26 years old, he's had identical records of 12 and 11 for each of the last 2 years, on the heel of a 16 win back in 2008. He has pitched exceptionally well against the Giants. He is 6-3 in his career, 2-1 against them last year, and the Giant hitters were batting .160 against him last year. He has also been dynamite against them here at Dodger Stadium. It'll be Andres Torres, Freddie Sanchez, and Aubrey Huff in that order. Andres Torres is somewhat of a miracle when you think about it to be here. Over 11 years in the big league, 11 years in the minor leagues with maybe 1 year in the big leagues. And Andres, a poor kid out of Puerto Rico, also suffered from attention deficit disorder. And that really slowed his progress as Billingsley goes to a windup and deals, and Torres takes ball 1-0. For Torres, with the ADD as they call it, he became the subject of a documentary which will be released in July, encouraging youngsters afflicted with attention deficit disorder. He fouls the pitch away, and the count 1-1. By the way, they say ADD affects perhaps 3 to 5% of school-age children. So Torres has had a long fight to get here. He's a kid at one time growing up in Puerto Rico without shoes and became a track star anyway. He dragged bunts one. Coming down to get it is Loney. No one there to cover first. Loney can't pick it up anyway. And the track star, Andres Torres, opens up with a drag bunt single.
Next, second baseman.
Take a look at the Dodgers defensively, and they shape up this way. In the outfield, Marcus Thames, Matt Kemp, and Andre Ethier. The infield, Aaron Miles, Rafael Furcal, Ivan De Jesus, and James Loney. And the battery, Chad Billingsley and Rod Baraja. Now, among other things, the Dodgers have to be concerned about Torres. He stole 26 bases last year. And with Torres at first, great speed, you have a very good hitter, a former batting champion, Freddie Sanchez, at the plate. Billingsley turns, throws to first. Torres dives back to the bag. So Chad Billingsley gives up a bunt single to start things off. Freddie Sanchez waiting at the plate. Sanchez hitting 200 against Chad Billingsley. And Billingsley is really conscious of the fact that Andres Torres runs well and is certainly liable to steal as soon as he spots an opening. Sanchez, good solid hitter, right-hand batter, local boy, born in Hollywood. Another throw to first. So Billingsley has made more throws to first base than he's made pitches. Freddie Sanchez 5 for 25 against Chad Billingsley. Chad looks in, getting a sign from Barajas. The outfield shaded to right field, and Billingsley delivers way inside and nicked him. So with Torres a bunt single, Sanchez hit by the pitch, all of a sudden the Giants have runners at first and second, nobody out, and the big boys coming up: Aubrey Huff, Buster Posey, and then Pat Burrell. So you got some speed on the baselines as Huff checks in at the plate. Aubrey hitless last night. He is 4 for 15, hitting in the 260s against Billingsley. Had a very good year last year, a career year almost. Wound up hitting 290. So Huff, big left-hand hitter. Out of a stretch goes Billingsley. Checks the runners, works Huff, and gets it in for a strike. And the count 0-1. Aubrey Huff had perhaps the greatest year in his career back in 2003. He had such numbers that defied the game itself, and he's up there now with a chance to get the Giants out in front. Billingsley will look at the runners at first and second. Huff swings, little ground ball to Loney. He'll go to get the runner at second base, and he does get the force play. Torres takes third. So on the force play, 3-6. You have Huff safely aboard at first. You have Torres advancing to third with one out, and the batter is Buster Posey. Posey, the rookie of the year last year, came out of nowhere. You have to remember he wasn't even called up until the end of May, and he still won the rookie award. He had the highest batting average of a Giant rookie at .305 since Orlando Cepeda 53 years ago. Orlando hit .312 as a rookie. So first and third, one out, first inning, no score, just starting. Billingsley set, checks the runners at the corners, and the pitch to Posey, low and inside, ball one. Posey, a fine young catcher, formerly an All-American shortstop, did make a critical error last night in the 6th inning, trying to get Matt Kemp at third. Threw it away, and Kemp scored one of the 2 Dodger runs. 1 ball and no strikes to Buster. The next pitch of the right-hand hitter misses inside. So Billingsley falling behind 2-0. Posey wore him out in a bit last year. He hit .385. That would be 5 for 13. So first and third, first inning, 1 out, no score. Game 2 of the 4-game series. Billingsley ready. Chad deals. Fastball fouled away. Off to the right upstairs, and the count 2-1. Posey followed by Pat Burrell. We're talking about Andres Torres having a tough time getting here. Chad Billingsley didn't exactly ride here on a cloud. Chad was a quarterback in high school and was blindsided after taking a snap from center, and that almost ruined his career. Chad ready in the 2-1 pitch. Posey fouls it away, 2-2. Billingsley, after being leveled, was told that he was okay. He finished practice, but then could not sleep with a sharp pain in his back. Went to the hospital. They found he had a ruptured spleen with internal bleeding, and then, just for good news, on the 3rd day his lungs partially collapsed and he contracted pneumonia. So he had to fight his way here, and he is center stage, first and third, 1 out, first inning. Chad ready. Here he comes. Breaking ball grounded to short. The feed by Furcal. The turn by De Jesus. Double play. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left as Posey kills 2, and at the end of half an inning, no score. First inning, leaving 1 as Posey hit into the double play. Now we can take a look at the Dodger lineup. Rafael Furcal leading off at shortstop, followed by Ivan DeJesus at second base. Andre Ethier in right field, Matt Kemp in center, Marcus Thames in left, James Loney at first, Rod Barajas the catcher, Aaron Miles at third, and Chad Billingsley on the mound. On the mound for the Giants, Jonathan Sanchez, 6'2", 180, 29 years old come November, out of Mayaguez in Puerto Rico. Among other things, he struck out 7 consecutive batters last year against Colorado. Starts off low to Furcal, 1 ball and no strikes. Sanchez last year wound up winning 13, losing 9, and he lost the game in the World Series. The 1-0 fastball in for a strike to Rafael Furcal. So Furcal looking for his first hit of the year. Sanchez works from the third base side of the rubber, comes back with a pitch that's flared to right field. Coming up to play it on a bounce is Aubrey Huff. So Rafael Furcal, a little pop fly single into right field. And that will bring up Ivan DeJesus. We can set the Giants defensively. In the outfield, Burrell, Torres, and Huff. On the infield, Sandoval, Tejada, Sanchez, and Belt, with Posey behind the plate handling Jonathan Sanchez. Sanchez now working on Ivan DeJesus. His father made his major league debut on a Friday night here at Dodger Stadium, believe it or not. That was back in 1974. His dad was a pinch runner in the top of the 8th inning in a game against the Reds. And he appeared in 88 games for the Dodgers in 1974 through 76. And he spent 15 years in the major league. And there goes a throw to first. Furcal broke, and a high throw down, and the tag is made by Tejada. So Rafael trying to make a move on Jonathan Sanchez. Sanchez, by the way, had 5 pickoffs last year. And so he shows that he's still got the magic. And despite the high throw, the tag by Tejada was just in time. Play going 3-6. So a base hit and an out, 1 down, and the pitch to DeJesus in there, 0-1 the count. If you turn the clock back on Ivan DeJesus, go back to 1999 and look at a Houston Farm Club as he swings and misses. The club was in Michigan. He was the bat boy. His father was the hitting coach. And 2 of the players on that A club were Tim Redding, the pitcher, Aaron Miles, the infielder, and they're now his teammates. Strike 2 pitch, check swing in the dirt, scrambled by Posey, wants to make sure, then tags out DeJesus, who wasn't quite sure what happened anyway. So DeJesus strikes out on a check swing. Strikeout number 1 for Sanchez. And the batter now will be Andre Ethier. Andre Ethier hitting just 167 against Sanchez. He has 4 hits, 1 of them a home run. So Andre checking in, 2 out, first inning, no score. Sanchez from the third base side of the rubber comes with a fastball for a strike, 0-1. Despite the fact that Andre Ethier had that broken pinky to really change his year, nevertheless, last year was a fine season for him. Here's the strike 1 pitch on the way, swung on and foul back, and the count 0-2. For the Giants and the Dodgers, the All-Star game, the break, was do or die. The Dodgers at the break, remember, were 2 games back of the Padres, and they were 10 games above 500. Boschi's boys were in 4th place, 4 games back, 6 games above 500. And then the All-Star break. Strike 2 pitch off the plate. Then the Giants played 600 ball, 45-29. And the Dodgers went south, 31-43. So the Dodgers had won 5 of 6 before the break against the Giants, and the Giants took 9 of 12 after the break. Ethier swings, comes up empty, and that's it. No runs, 1 hit. Sanchez picks up 2 strikeouts, and at the end of an inning, no score. Sanchez strikes out 2, made only 10 pitches, and we move to the 2nd inning, no score. It'll be Pat Burrell, Pablo Sandoval, and then Brandon Belt. Chad Billingsley delivers and gets a strike. Pat Burrell in the 9th inning last night hit a line drive home run over the scoreboard in left field. You may or may not have noticed about Jason Hayward, the great young player for Atlanta. The strike 1 pitch sliced foul out of play. Jason Hayward on opening day last year in his first major league at bat, Hayward hit a home run. And opening day in 2011 in his first at bat, Jason Hayward hit a home run. Here's the strike 2 pitch to Burrell, swung on, ground ball to Furcall. Raphael winds up a bit, throws to first in time for the out, and we have 1 away. So rather remarkable, hitting home runs opening day back-to-back years. And believe it or not, the last guy I think you would think of to have done that, the only other player was Kaz Matsui, the little infielder for the New York Mets. He homered on opening day in 2004 and 5. A slim down panda, Pablo Sandoval, checking in at the plate. And for the Giants, if they are going to repeat or come close, Sandoval has to have a big year. He bangs one foul off the protective railing in the Giant dugout. Pablo broke in with a bang, but then cooled off considerably. He went from a .330 batting average and 25 home runs to a .268 batting average and 13 home runs. The strike one pitch lunged at and missed. What was really interesting when Sandoval came up, he not only hit .345, but he only struck out 14 times. And he is not a strikeout hitter. He didn't strike out very much in the minor leagues. So Pablo waiting, and the strike two pitch on the way. Swung on and missed, and don't you know, he strikes out, of course. So Billingsley picks up a K, 2 out, and the batter will be Brandon Belt. Be sure to join the Dodgers Sunday at 5. They wrap up their opening weekend series with the Giants. You can take home a Dodgers sleeved blanket presented by State Farm. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. Of all the young players down on the field yesterday, there had to be butterflies in the stomach of Brandon Belt. I mean, here's a big kid at 6'5", 210. 1 year in professional ball, and the next year he's opening up at first base for a world championship team. Strike one pitch on the way to the left-hand hitter. Swung on, little ground ball at first. Loney's on it. He's on the bag as well, and that's that. So no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. And at the end of an inning and a half, Giants nothing, Dodgers nothing. Maybe only 8 pitches in the second inning, and now we go to the bottom of the second, where Jonathan Sanchez, working on 2 strikeouts, will be facing Matt Kemp, then Marcus Thames and James Loney. And the left-hander's first pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. So Matt Kemp, for the first time in his young career yesterday, 3 walks in a game, at a clutch stolen base, scored a key run. The strike one pitch on the way in the dirt, all the way to the backstop, and the count runs 1 ball and 1 strike. So Matt trying to get something started here with Thames and Loney to follow. Sanchez has vastly improved as a pitcher, and all you have to do is check his work against the Dodgers as Kemp fouls one back. In his first 9 starts against the Dodgers, Sanchez was 0-5 and an earned run average over 6. His last 2 starts, 2-0, with an earned run average of 0.6. So he's come of age. Now Kemp is a classic example of the improvement of Sanchez. Jonathan ready and delivers, and it is swung on and missed. In his first 20 at-bats against Sanchez, Kemp had 9 hits, 3 for extra bases, struck out twice. In his last 7 at-bats against Sanchez, he has struck out 6 times and a little ground ball. He'll tell you all about Jonathan Sanchez. So that's 3 strikeouts in a row. But again, remember last year, he struck out 7 in a row against Colorado. And the first pitch to Marcus Thames swung on and missed, and the count 0-1. Thames, a nice, quiet young fella out of Mississippi, and his background almost break your heart. The strike 1 pitch on the way is hit down the line, foul and out of play. He was born and raised in Louisville, Mississippi, the 3rd of 5 children. And when he was 5, his oldest sibling was 10, his youngest a baby, and his mom was in a terrible automobile accident and was paralyzed from the neck down. And here were these little kids without a father. The strike 2 pitch, fastball high and away. So Marcus grew up in a hurry. In fact, the oldest child was 14 and the oldest daughter was 12, and she became the cook. And the mother from the wheelchair would explain to the child how to cook. A broken bat, a little one-hopper, doubled and dropped by Freddie Sanchez. So Marcus Thames has the bat sawed off in his hands, but there was so much English on it, and Freddie Sanchez trying to charge and pick it up and couldn't do it. Big high pop fly. Freddie was deep, tried to barehand and dropped it and never could recover. It will go as a base hit. So Thames, an infield single, and the batter now will be James Loney. So Freddie gave it his best shot, couldn't do it, and now Loney checks in. Sanchez has been dynamite against left-hand hitters, so we'll see how Loney does against him. To give you an idea, left-handers last year hit 181 against him. Jonathan's first pitch is off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Bottom of the 2nd, no score. Giants and Dodgers. Game 3 tomorrow, and that would be Ted Lilly and Matt Cain. Sunday, the final game, Kuroda, and we'll see about Barry Zito. We hope he's well enough to pitch. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Sanchez ready and comes back. Loney drives one to center, but right there is Andres Torres, and back to first base goes Thames. So Loney hits the ball hard, but right at the center fielder. 2 down, and Rod Barajas coming up. No score in the ball game. We're only in the 2nd inning. Giants had a bunt single, a hit batter to put runners on at 1st and 2nd, and nobody out. After Huff hit into a force play, Posey grounded into a double play. The Dodgers had Furcal lead off with a pop fly single, only to be picked off while trying to break and steal. And now Thames a broken bat single here in the 2nd. Sanchez looks over to first, comes to the plate, and the fastball is high. Ball 1. 1-0 to Rod Barajas. Barajas, the big boy, born in Ontario, lives in Norwalk. 6'2" and about 230. Gives his catcher that pose a great block and target for the pitcher. The 1-0 pitch on the way in at the knees for a strike, and the count 1-1. Jonathan Sanchez, breezing along, has made 22 pitches. He had a no-hitter back in 2009 against Atlanta, but that was nothing new. He had 4 no-hitters in college. The 1-1 pitch on the way is swung on and missed. 1-2. Interesting, even though he had the 4 no-hitters, the scouts didn't like him. They didn't think he threw hard enough, etc. But the Giants scout recognized his arm strength and felt that his mechanics could be fixed. So they picked him in the 27th round back in 2004. The left-hander ready, and the 1-2 pitch on the way is hit in the air, foul off first, down the line, back into the stands. What they did with Jonathan, Dick Chidrow, who scouted and pitched in the big leagues, was intrigued by the way the baseball came out of Sanchez's hand when he was playing catch. But when he went to the mound, his pitches flattened and became lifeless. So Chidrow said, look, try this. Glide your right foot slightly off the ground while striding to the plate rather than taking a high step. As soon as he did that, the life in his pitches reappeared, and the next thing you know, he came up to the Giants about 2 years later. 1-2 the count. High step, and he comes with a curve, and it's slapped into right center. Torres can't get it. Neither can Sanchez. On his way to third goes Marcus Thames. So the Dodgers, with 2 out, have runners at first and third. And Aaron Miles coming up. The balls have not been hit hard. For Call, a pop fly single. Thames, a broken bat, pop fly on the infield. And Barajas, a little fly ball single. So the Dodgers, no runs, 3 hits. The Giants have hit. That was a bunt. So the batter is Aaron Miles. Aaron, who was born in Pittsburgh, California, lives up in Antioch, originally signed by the Astros. Sanchez set, checks the runners, delivers. Fast one is a little low, ball 1, 1-0. Things about Sanchez as he works on Miles, just skim the cream off the top. He was kind of fortunate last year. He was 13-9, but he had 4 possible losses saved 6 different times. The 1-0 pitch on the way, that's a strike. He had 4 wins where he pitched less than 6 innings. He's a strikeout pitcher. He's on the wild side. Gets most of his outs on the ground. He'll make a lot of pitches to the hitter. Gets a lot of called strikes. The 1-1 pitch on the way to Aaron Miles. Sanchez ready. Aaron hitting right-handed, takes high, and a 2-1 count. Miles 5'8", 180. Playing third base. Juan Uribe last night was nailed on the elbow and just couldn't extend the arm, so he was unable to play. 2-1 the count to Aaron Miles. Had a good year with the Cardinals, hit .281. Here comes Sanchez, and that's a strike to balance it up. 2-2 the count. Meanwhile, Uribe, they also serve, who only stand and wait and blow bubble gum. About all he can do right now. 2-2 the count as Miles tries to help out at third base tonight. 2-2 pitch coming up. Aaron swings late on a pitch that appeared off the plate and strikes out. Strikeout number 4 for Jonathan Sanchez. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left, and at the end of 2, no scores. There have been 4 hits. None of them have been hit hard. And coming up now, it'll be Miguel Tejada, Jonathan Sanchez, and Andres Torres. Miguel Tejada, at 5'9", 215 pounds, has been an Ironman. He will be 37 years old in May, and he's been a remarkable player. Right-hand batter, takes a little high, ball 1. Give you an idea, he had a playing streak of 1,152 games. That's the 5th longest. 6 straight years he played every game of a 162 schedule. Fouls the pitch away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. His biggest year was back in 2002. He was the American League Most Valuable Player, and what a year. Played all games, of course. Hit .308 with 34 home runs. He's had 34 a couple of times, so he's a small package of dynamite. Swings, doesn't get it, and the count 1-2. He's another fella from the Dominican Republic who was poverty-stricken. In fact, he tells a story when he was a toddler. His mom used to bathe him in the river near their first house, standing with all the other women who were washing clothes in the river. The 1-2 pitch. Miguel swings. Hard ground ball to third. Aaron Miles stays with it and throws him out. So Tejada taps to third. 1 away. Jonathan Sanchez will be coming up. Say, friends, Tuesday, April 19th, the Dodgers will commemorate the 30th anniversary of Fernando Mania with a Fernando Valenzuela fleece banquet presented by Time Warner Cable. So go to Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. 1 away. Here's Jonathan Sanchez, left-hand batter, looks at a strike, and the count 0-1. On deck, Andres Torres. No runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. And the pitch now by Billingsley, down and away, a slider, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Sanchez waiting. Billingsley turns on the rubber, and the 1-1 pitch on the way, foul back. 1-2. Giants have 1 hit, a bunt single by Torres. The Dodgers have 3 hits, pop fly single by Furcal, pop fly broken bat single by Thames, and a fly ball single by Barajas. The 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on and missed, and down he goes. So 3 strikeouts for Chad Billingsley, 4 strikeouts for Sanchez. So we've already had 7. And of course, yesterday, Kershaw struck out 9. Looking back at Lincecum, he struck out 5. So 2 down, and here's Andres Torres. Showed his speed with a drag bunt single in the first inning. Billingsley ready and comes to the plate, and it's stroked into left field. Line drive, base hit. Thames up with it. Holding at first base is Andres Torres. That's their first clean line drive single. So Torres is 2 for 2 with 2 out, and Freddie Sanchez pretty much of a contact hitter coming up. Again, you're looking for Boshi to run Torres. Sanchez hit by a pitch in the first inning. So Freddie coming up, and we'll see now. Boshi has him taking a pitch or so to see if he can run Andres Torres. Sanchez, the National League batting champ in 2006. Throw to first. Torres, who is a threat to run, and Billingsley made a lot of throws over there. Going to keep an eye on Andres. 26 stolen bases last year. Loney holding a corner on him, and Freddie Sanchez waiting. 2 out in the third. No score. Billingsley ready, turns another throw. Had it been a low throw to first, it might have been a lot closer. And now Loney coming over to say something to Billingsley, and Roberto Kelly comes over to say something to Torres. So Andres Torres, like any good base dealer, trying to explore and see the best move the pitcher has without being picked off in the process. Billingsley watching him, comes to the plate. Freddie takes inside off speed, That was 67 miles an hour. 1 ball and no strikes to Freddie, who is 5'10" and 190. Born in Hollywood, lives in Burbank, so of course anytime they play here, I'm sure he has relatives and friends. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Torres takes his lead, does not go. The pitch is fouled away. We mentioned it last night. We try and mention it, I guess, every time the Giants play the Dodgers. The fact that Freddie Sanchez's right foot is a half size smaller than his left. He lacks certain muscles in his right calf. He was born with a club right foot and a pigeon-toed left foot. And he was wearing a cast since he was 1 day old. Why do we repeat the story? Because it's so inspirational. He takes one in the dirt. Nice block by Barajas. 2 balls and 1 strike. He wore a cast on his right leg from the 2nd day of his life until he was 13 months old. Then he had surgery, and for a while the lower leg looked a little bit like the head of a golf club, they say. And with all of that, he battled his way to the big leagues, and he's been a pro since the year 2000. Freddie swings, fouls that away. Freddie was originally drafted by the Boston Red Sox out of Oklahoma City University. And of course, his crowning achievement, 2006, when he won the batting title. So he has his name in the Pittsburgh books, along with Honus Wagner, Paul Waner, Roberto Clemente, etc. 2-2 to Freddie Sanchez. Torres bluffs. Barajas throws to first, and they just miss getting him. So Torres got a good bluff, but he was almost too far if he was going to stop. Barajas took a shot, and Andres just did get back with a hand. Loney hit him on the shoulder, but the hand was pretty much on the bag. In fact, he actually hit him on the shoulder after he went after the hand. So 3-2 with 2 down, so he'll be going now. Sanchez waiting. No score, top of the 3rd inning. Billingsley, another throw to first. He's not only throwing to first, there's also a little bit of a fatigue factor. Each time you make that base runner dive back, you hope that sooner or later you'll take a step away from him. Torres inching off the bag, held on by Loney. He'll be going 3-2, and the pitch is low, ball 4. So Billingsley, who has struck out 3, has walked a batter and hit 1. And but Don Mattingly, watching his right-hander have to face Aubrey Huff. Aubrey Huff has a painful background. He was 6 years old, and he was an electrician at an apartment complex. His dad was. And there was an estranged couple having a big argument. The husband fired a shot at the apartment manager, and don't you know, Mr. Huff pushed her out of the way, but took the bullet and was killed. The pitch to Aubrey is fouled away. So each one, when you look back, there's something he had to overcome. And with Aubrey Huff, a broken heart to lose his dad when he's only 6 years old, in the wrong place at the wrong time, but he was a hero. Aubrey is 6'4" and 230, out of Ohio. Of course, that's the same state that produced Chad Billingsley. Huff's biggest year, 2003. He was remarkable. Ivandi Jesus plays him on the grass, and he fouls the pitch into the Giant dugout. How about this? What he did in 2003, matched by only 11 players in history. He had 198 hits, 47 doubles, 34 home runs, and 107 RBIs. I mean, his name goes in with Chuck Klein, Alex Rodriguez, Todd Helton, Albert Pujols, Frank Robinson, Don Mattingly, Hank Greenberg, Lou Gehrig, and Rogers Hornsby. That's the background of Aubrey Huff. Strike 2 pitch is swung on and fouled away. Aubrey with the Giants last year wound up hitting .290 with 26 home runs, 86 runs batted in. He's always had power. His high, 34 home runs for the Devil Rays back in 2003. The outfield very deep straightaway with 2 out. 0-2 the count. Billingsley checks the runners and deals in there. Call strike 3. So Aubrey Huff is caught looking. The Giants lead 2. 4 strikeouts for Chad Billingsley. And at the end of 2.5 innings, no score. The ball game, a night game between the Giants and the Dodgers. We've come to take night games for granted, and you might think the first major league game was 1935, and that's true. That involved the Reds and the Phils. Billingsley takes ball 1. But in 1931, the Reds played Brooklyn in an afternoon game in Cincinnati. And the pitch outside, 2 balls and no strikes. And then after the day game, the Reds hosted a team from Dayton at night using a portable lighting system used by the House of David. The pitch in for a strike. You ever heard of the House of David? Well, all you have to do is take a picture of Brian Wilson and think of every player on the field with a beard. The 2-1 pitch is inside, ball 3. That was the House of David. Grover Cleveland Alexander pitched, and he was 44 years old. He pitched 4 innings for Dayton in that night game. 3-1 pitch is outside, so Billingsley draws a walk. And of course, Sanchez, as we mentioned earlier, makes a lot of pitches, and sure enough, he gives up a walk. That first night game, the Reds in Cincinnati, 1935, they put on a good show. President Roosevelt was in the White House, and he pressed a gold Western Union key, which supposedly turned on the lights at 8:30 p.m. Actually, he turned on one light at General Manager Larry McPhail's table, and he flipped a switch and turned on the lamps that flooded the field with light. The pitch now to Raphael for a call. A big swing and a miss. Raphael takes a look down to third at Tim Wallach. 0-1 the count. No score, bottom of the third. Dodgers Giants for call. Pop fly single into right field in the first inning, but he was picked off, broke too early. He takes a pitch away. 1-1 the count. Beautiful evening. At game time, the temperature was 74 degrees. And you can just imagine, especially last night's game, 5 o'clock, televised nationally, and the people back east, snow flurries in Cleveland, cold weather all over the place. 1-1 pitch is off the plate. You can just imagine what it must be like to see a game being played under magnificent lighting conditions here at Dodger Stadium. 2-1 the count to Rafael Furcal. Sanchez, left foot on the rubber, looks in to get a sign. A peek over at Billingsley, but he doesn't expect him to run. And Furcal grounds it foul outside at third, and it jumps up into the seats and then spills over into the Dodger dugout. Jonathan Sanchez out of Sabana Grande in Puerto Rico, 6'2", 180. He'll be 29 in November and had a no-hitter, his first ever complete game 2 years ago over San Diego in San Francisco. The score was 8-0, his first victory. The next one to Furcal is swung on and missed. He's checking with the plate umpire, Lance Barksdale, to see if he swung at a strike, and it would be debatable. So Rafael goes after it. Down he goes for Sanchez. Strikeout number 5. So the left-hander working now on Ivan De Jesus, the former bat boy in the Houston organization, the son of a big league player, making his debut tonight. Right hand hitter way out in front of it, and the count 0-1. Obviously, young De Jesus is not superstitious, wearing number 13. No balls and 1 strike to Ivan. He's 5'11" and 190. Broke his leg 2 years ago over at Camelback Ranch. He takes low and inside. He did not break it on the major field. He was off with the minor league players, so it was kind of lost in the shuffle, but he's had to fight his way back, and here he is. In 2008, he was the Dodgers minor league player of the year. He had a pretty good teacher in trying to put the bat on the ball with his dad. 1-1 the count. Sanchez ready, and a fastball foul back, and the count 1-2. No score, bottom of the 3rd inning. Ivan De Jesus at the plate, 1 away. Billingsley at first base. They're not holding him on. Giants had Torres reach 3rd base in the 1st inning. The Dodgers have not had a man at 2nd base yet, and we're in the 3rd. Sanchez set, staring at Billingsley. Now comes to De Jesus low, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Giants last year won their World's Championship basically on pitching. They were the first team to lead the majors in earned run average in a full 162 season, and go on to win the series since the '86 Mets beat the Red Sox. The next one fouled away by Ivan De Jesus. So De Jesus trying to begin his big league career on a high note. Did not start yesterday. They thought he might open up at 2nd base, and that was the quote that got a lot of action. I'm looking forward to my first hit against Tim Lincecum. Well, it never happened. Now he's looking forward against Sanchez. 2-2 the count. Time call for the moment. The outfield, Torres very shallow in center. Huff is up in right, and only Burrell is back at all in left field. 2-2 the count. Here comes Sanchez, and it is swung on and fouled away. In looking at De Jesus' minor league record, he had 7 home runs at Jacksonville. He had 7 home runs at Albuquerque. That would be the high. But they really shorten up against him with Sanchez on the mound. No runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits for the Giants. Out of a stretch goes Sanchez. Jonathan delivers low with a fastball. 3-2 the count. Sanchez has struck out 5. Billingsley has struck out 4, so we've had 9 Ks so far. Andre Ethier is on deck. DeJesus heaving a little sigh, muttering to himself, now getting back in the box. Left-hander Sanchez works it very high. Ball 4. So 2 walks in the inning, and that will bring up Andre Ethier. It is quite a challenge for left-hand hitters, and Bochy does not appear to be too upset in the dugout. To repeat the note we gave you earlier, left-hand batters last year hit 181 against Sanchez with 5 home runs. Right-handers, however, hit 16 against him. So you have Ethier with 1 out and Matt Kemp on deck. So 2 walks, and the Dodgers now have Ethier up there, who has been very successful. Last year hit .326 with men aboard, hits a fly ball to deep right, but Huff goes back for one-handed. Tagging up is Billingsley, and he'll go into third base standing up. So Ethier, fly ball deep enough to right to advance Chad Billingsley. And with 2 out, first and third, and the batter is Matt Kemp. Posey is looking over at Bochy, and Bochy answered whatever Posey was questioning. You have Kemp followed by Marcus Thames. Dave Righetti, the pitching coach, standing in front of Bruce Bochy. And although they are not going to intentionally walk Kemp, first and third, 2 out, again Posey looks over. It might be one of those, let's not give him a strike and see if he chases a bad pitch. We'll find out in a minute. And the pitch is taken a low strike right at the kneecaps. 0-1 the count. For Sanchez and Kemp, Matt, 9 hits and a home run against Sanchez, but as we told you, that was early in the battles. He has struck out 6 times and grounded out in his last 7 at bats, and he drives one to left field. Burrell going away back. He's not going to get it. It will bounce over the wall. Billingsley will score on a ground rule double. DeJesus stops at third, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. And now Dave Righetti has gone out to talk to Jonathan Sanchez. So Matt got a fastball out over the plate and drove it over the head of Pat Burrell for a long ground rule double as it bounced up into the seats. Billingsley comes home. DeJesus goes to third, and the Dodgers are on the board, leading 1-0. You had a feeling just in sitting in the stands watching Posey look over at Bochy as if Posey was thinking, let's not give him a strike. But then the first pitch, barely a strike, low at the knees, and then they came right back with a strike, and Matt Kemp punished them, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. So Billingsley, who walked, that's rare, worked his way around to give himself and the Giants a hard time as he brings in the run, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. Marcus Thames chasing a pitch, doesn't get it. No balls and 1 strike. In the inning, 2 walks, a long fly ball that advanced Billingsley, and then the double by Matt Kemp. DeJesus down the line from third, Kemp at second with 2 out. 0-1 to Marcus Thames. Here comes Sanchez, full swing and a foul ball out of play. Thames in his first at bat for the Dodgers in the second inning broke his bat and hit a little pop fly that landed on the grass at second base. Freddie Sanchez was on the rim, tried to charge and one-hop it with his bare hand and couldn't do it. So Thames 1 for 1. No balls and 2 strikes the count. Second and third, 2 out, 1-0 Dodgers. Thames out of there. So timeout for the moment. James Loney on deck. No balls and 2 strikes the count. Here comes the left-hander's pitch. A high pitch swung on and missed. So the Giants are going to have to chew on pitching to Matt Kemp, throwing 2 consecutive pitches out over the plate, and Kemp makes them pay, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. El Pollo Loco. Try our delicious Baja-style fish tacos with classic Baja or spicy avocado sauce, only at El Pollo Loco. By Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. And by Corona. 1-0 Dodgers, 4th inning. Billingsley pitching to Buster Posey, ball 1. Billingsley scoring the run to give the Dodgers a 1-0 lead. You might wonder how many runs he scored last year, and the answer, 1. The 1-0 pitch to Posey, foul back. Posey grounded into a double play in the 1st inning. As Bruce Bochy, talking about Posey last year, he said Posey is not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. He doesn't mind getting deep in the count. 2-1. Posey pitched in the World Junior Championship on a USA squad that featured, among others, Andrew McCutchen of the Pirates, and he bangs it to right. Here comes Ethier. Did he catch it? No, he trapped it. So it's a sinking single to right center. Great effort by Andre Ethier. Almost took the hit away. And a good call by Adrian Johnson, the second base umpire, who ran out there to make sure. It was close right there, but the umpire was able to immediately give the right call. So Posey opens up the 4th inning with a single to right. And the batter will be Pat Burrell. You know, another player that was on that kids team, Justin Upton of Arizona. So here's Burrell, grounded to short, homered last night. Had a swing and a foul ball, 0-1. There have been a lot of big league players who were born in Arkansas. The most home runs hit by an Arkansas traveler, Pat Burrell, 286. Some pretty good names. After Burrell, you have Brooks Robinson, Torrey Hunter, Rick Monday, Willie Davis, Lou Brock, Wally Moon. 1 ball and 1 strike to Pat Burrell. Pat Burrell went from one World Series participant to the other between seasons. And according to the Elias Sports Bureau, there have only been 4 players and 2 position players in 40 years to play in the series and play their first game the next season for the other team. Burrell with the Rays in 2010. Then to the Giants to win the championship. Some of the others, well, Don Gullett, he went from the Reds to the Yankees. Tommy John went from the Dodgers to the Yankees. Two balls and one strike. Gary Thomason went from the Yankees to the Dodgers. Edgar Renteria, who left the Giants after last year, he went from the Cardinals to the Red Sox. That's a good pitch. 2-2 the count to Pat Burrell. Billingsley leading 1-0. We're in the fourth inning. Burrell was one of San Jose's top athletes. Ball three. Well put together. Pat is 6'4", 235 pounds. He had a freak incident occur in the International League playoffs. He hit what looked like a sure home run, but it nailed a bird in mid-flight, and it kept the ball in play. 3-2. There goes the runner, fouled away. So Posey on the move. Burrell fouls it off. Pablo Sandoval on deck. One run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 3 hits for the Giants. Burrell's a baseball man. He has a small baseball tattoo on his lower left leg. We'll see what they do with Posey, whether they run him again. Held on by Loney. Dodgers lead 1-0. Top of the fourth inning. Runner goes. Ball is hit to left field. Thames is right there to make the catch. And back to first base comes Posey. So Burrell fly ball to left. One away. Pablo Sandoval will be coming out. Well, the AT&T trivia question. Can you name the only 3 National League franchises ever to win 2 straight World Series? Pablo Sandoval, a slimmed down Sandoval. Last year he was listed at about 270. Now he's down to about 240. Trying to recover the great stroke that he had 2 years ago. And that's a strike. 0-1. I think we've told you before, Pablo is ambidextrous. Natural left-hander, but he wanted to be a catcher as a kid. Figured a left-handed catcher wouldn't make it. So he taught himself to throw right-handed. And then he figured I might as well complete the job, and he became a switch hitter. 0-1. Hard foul ball on the ground. He's a very aggressive hitter, and somebody said to Sean Dunston, I wish he'd learn to walk more. And Dunston said, you want to see a walk? Go watch the mailman. He doesn't walk very often. He managed to walk 47 times last year. 0-2 to Pablo. Fouled away. He's one of 5 children. 3 older brothers. The oldest one is a police officer. The second oldest is a criminal attorney. And the third is a baseball player who was released by the Minnesota Twins last year. It got to Double-A. 0-2 to Pablo Sandoval. He'll be 25 in August. And a drive down the left field line, slicing in the corner, foul, and out of play. Sandoval's mom and dad had attended college. So did the two oldest sons. And when he decided to be a baseball player and once complained about some part of being in the minor leagues, his mom very quickly said, "I don't want to hear about it. I told you to go to college." End of conversation. 0-2 the count. Pitch up high, but he went after it, fouled it off. They say he's a very good-natured guy. A couple of years ago on an off day, he went from San Francisco to San Jose, watched the single A team, visit with his family, and then after the game, he bought dinner for the entire clubhouse. 0-2, Pablo Sandoval. Shot up the middle. Base hit to center. Stopping at second is Posey. Up with it, ready to pull the trigger, was Matt Kemp. So first and second with one out, and Brandon Belt will be coming up.
First baseman, number 9, Brandon Belt.
Brandon Belt really making a big move. 1 year in the minor leagues, that's all. He's 6'5" and 210. Signed late in 2009, so he didn't play. And last year he played at Fresno, Richmond, and San Jose. He was a pitcher in high school. They say his fastball was clocked at 93. As a senior, he committed to the University of Texas, rejected offers from the Red Sox, passed up the Braves, and eventually signed for the Giants August 2009. Ball one. When the Giants first saw Belt in the instructional league, he had a closed stance, so it made him kind of a contact hitter, but he left him prone to getting around on hard stuff. So they made him stand up a little bit and then pull that right leg closer to first base, so he opened up his stance. So as the scouts would say, they squared him up. Once they freed him up, they got his hips and hands to work. Here he is, big league. 2 balls and no strikes to Brandon Belt. And a high drive into dead center. Backless Kemp away back at the track. Gone. Brandon Belt has belted one in his second major league game. Last night he was 1 for 3. And boy, he did just what they talked about. Now that they've fixed his stance, he's got socked. He had 23 home runs in his first year as a pro, and he'll hit 20 or more in the big league. And just like that, the Giants turn it around and lead the Dodgers 3-1. There was one nagging fact about Chad Billingsley's performance so far tonight. The Giants have swung and missed a pitch only 4 times. They have fouled off 19 pitches. What a thrill for the boy from Texas, Brandon Belt. Now the strike one pitch on the way. 0-2. By the way, he replaced Travis Ishikawa. Ishikawa hit about 390 against Billingsley. Fastball, he said. Yep, that's what he got. And he hit it over the center field wall. 0-2. Foul back. Take another look at that home run by Brandon Belt. Fastball out over the outside part of the plate, and he's big and strong at 6'5". See you later. Brandon Belt, B-E-L-T, great name for a hitter. 0-2. Ball one. So Tejada grounded to third in the third inning. And Billingsley burned by the home run. But he has not been able to get the ball by the Giant hitters anyway. So I guess in a way, a matter of time. Fastball, 2-2 the count. Miguel Tejada, a remarkable player. It's asking a lot to play shortstop when you're coming up 37 years old. 2-2. And a fly ball to right field. Ethier. That's only the second out. And the batter now, Jonathan Sanchez. So Billingsley, who came into this game with wonderful numbers, for instance, at Dodger Stadium, 4-1 against the Giants, an earned run average of 0.9, 2 shutouts here, both against the Giants. And the Giants were winning here at Dodger Stadium 184 against him, but not tonight. He is ready to make his 28th pitch, and he misses. So he's up to 66 pitches right now in the fourth inning. 2 out, working on Jonathan Sanchez, his opposite number. Fly ball down the line, a trio of Dodgers. It's coming back, and it will be Thames making the catch. However, the Giants come up with 2 base hits and then a home run by young Brandon Belt. And at the end of 3.5, 3-1 Giants. The fourth inning after a tremendous opening day performance yesterday by Clayton Kershaw. One of the interesting things about Kershaw is he was striking out 9, a lot of pitches in the dirt. In fact, you'll see one up to Burrow. Otherwise, all the breaking balls, and that's the one to Burrow. So yesterday, 9 strikeouts, only 1 walk, a brilliant effort, and he has dominated the Giants in 7 games. His earned run average 1.2. Well, Billingsley had good numbers here at Dodger Stadium, but he's now losing 3-1. Dodgers trying to come back here with Loney, Barajas, and Miles. Strike to James. He hit the ball pretty well, but Andres Torres went back to get it. 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Loney 0 for 1, hitting .200 in this second game of the year. Outfield about straight away. Breaking ball roll to Brandon Belt. One away. Tim Lincecum, another magnificent pitcher. All he did was go 7 and allow 1 run, and actually the defense really hurt him. A remarkable 49 wins in the last few years, 2 Cy Young awards. So despite the fact he lost the game, he turned in another tremendous effort. Rod Barajas. Ball 1. Barajas singled to center in the second inning. That sent Thames to third, but then Miles struck out to end the threat. Sanchez has struck out 6. Billingsley has struck out 4. Two balls and no strikes. Jonathan Sanchez might have been 0-1 in the World Series, but he's developing into an outstanding pitcher. Boy, the nice easy deliver on a fastball. It was 89 miles an hour, but it just came out of his hand so easily, and you can see what the work of Dick Tidrow did and how it has paid off. 2-1 on the outside corner. 2-2. Ball 3. Earlier we were talking about Sanchez, a complete game 8-0 victory over San Diego. He had a perfect game into the 8th inning, and Juan Uribe made an error, but he went on to pitch the first giant no-hitter by a left-hander since the great Carl Hubble. What was the best thing of all? His dad was there to take in the game. Dad happened to fly in from Puerto Rico, and what a memorable night for both Jonathan and his father. The hook misses, so he walks Barajas, and the batter will be Aaron Miles. Remember, we had that question before, our trivia question of the night. Can you name the only 3 National League franchises ever to win 2 straight World Series? And the answer, well, the Cubs did it, yes, way back when. The Giants did it pretty far back. And, of course, the Big Red Machine in 75 and 6. So Bruce Bochy trying to do it here with this club, winning 3-1. Miles fouls it off, 0-1. Aaron Miles struck out in the second inning. Juan Uribe hit on the elbow, unable to answer the bell tonight. Aaron's a veteran. He's played with the White Sox and the Rockies, the Cardinals, the Cubs. Cardinals again last year. And he hits a high fly ball into left center. Torres says he will take care of it, and does. Rod Barajas has to hustle back to first. So 2 down, and Chad Billingsley coming up. Talking about winning back-to-back World Series, the only teams in either league to win more than 2 World Series in a row, the Yankees. They won 5 straight World Series from 1949 to 53, and most of the time the Giants were the victims. They beat, well, the Oakland A's won 3 straight from 1972 to 74. The Yankees beat the Giants in 1951, but they beat the Dodgers in 1949, 52, and 53. And in 1950, the New York Giants, or the Yankees, beat the Philadelphia Phillies. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-1. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Giants. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. Brandon Belt lived up to that last name, belted one over the center field fence. Right. And down he goes on the breaking ball. 7 strikeouts for Jonathan Sanchez. No runs, no hits for the Dodgers. Man left. The end of 4, 3-1, San Francisco. Is brought to you by your Southern California Ford dealers. Visit us today and trade up to Ford. And by Jack in the Box. Right now, get the All-American Jack Combo with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax. We move to the 5th inning, 3-1 in favor of the Giants. Among other things about Chad Billingsley, we were talking about the fact the Giants, when they swing, are not missing, and they fouled off a good 19 of 20. In the first 3 innings, the Giants were unable to hit a fly ball against Billingsley. And in the 4th inning, you had 3 fly balls and boom, the big home run. Andres Torres, a bunt single and a single to left. Off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Torres, Freddie Sanchez, and Aubrey Huff in that order. Shows bunt, drops it down. Billingsley picks it up, fires just in time. That's about as hard a ball as he's thrown tonight. I mean, that thing was humming, and Loney stayed with it.
Second baseman, Freddie Sanchez.
Good bunt. If it's just to the left or right, it's going to be even closer. So Torres out on the bunt attempt, 1-3, and the batter now Freddie Sanchez. In front of Andres Torres is Mike Murphy. Mike Murphy, the genial clubhouse skipper of the San Francisco Giants. You can go all the way back to the Polo Grounds in New York. Mike, a great guy, has run things up there in San Francisco for 54 years. There he is. Wonderful man. He has seen a lot of players come and go, and they all like Murph. 1-1. Ground ball to Ivan De Jesus. And we have 2 down. So after the flurry of fly balls that cost 3 runs in the 4th inning, a bunt, and now the ground ball by Sanchez, and the batter Aubrey Huff. Oh, 0-1 the count. Aubrey hit into a force play and struck out. One and one. Giants did a lot of good things offensively last year. Of course, you always talk about their pitching, but they also did some very good things offensively. They were 15th in the league as far as called strikes, so they were up there hacking. They were 15th in called out on strikes. They were 4th in home runs against right-hand pitching. They were 3rd in home runs on the road. And the Giants always ran the bases well. They were 15th last year in having runners picked off, 14th in runners picked off and caught stealing. Juan Uribe was a big contributor with 24 home runs for the Giants. That's foul back out of play. Aubrey Huff was 4th in the National League in 3-0 counts. He was top of the heap in the National League in productive outs. He was 4th in picking up runners from third base with less than 2 outs. But down he goes. So for the second time tonight, Billingsley retires the side, but at the end of 4 1/2, 3-1 Giants. A 3-1 lead behind the strong pitching of Jonathan Sanchez, who's allowed 1 run, 4 hits, while striking out 7 and walking 3. That's a strike. Rafael for call. Fly ball single to right and struck out. 1 for 2. In there again. 0-2 the count. Sanchez, who was 0-5 against the Dodgers, has turned things completely around. Fouled away. For call, followed by DeJesus and then Ethier. The Dodger run came in the third inning. Billingsley walked. With one out, went to second on a walk to DeJesus and scored on a double by Matt Kemp. But that's been the extent of the Dodger attack. And even then, in looking back, had the feeling that Posey was almost begging Boshi not to throw a strike to Kemp. But he started him strike one, came back with another, and Matt doubled in the run. Ground ball down to Tejada. Away. The Dodgers have their hands full when you realize in the first 2 weeks of the season they're going to be playing the champions 7 times. They also playing a club that figures to be definitely in the thick of things throughout the year in Colorado, and San Diego with a brilliant pitching staff. And then when the Dodgers come home, what a homestand. St. Louis with Albert Pujols and company, followed by 4 with the Atlanta Braves. So the Dodgers begin the year on a very, very tough note, and they will be severely challenged. So for Don Mattingly, he'll be growing up fast. Giants 3, Dodgers 1, bottom of the 5th. One and one to Ivan DeJesus, making his major league debut on a Friday night, just as his dad did with the Dodgers so many years ago. 1-1. On deck, Andre Ethier. And that's going down the right field line, slicing foul and out of play. And the count remains 1-2. DeJesus runs well enough. They project he could steal 10 to 20 bases. Of course, the broken leg probably took some speed away from him. That occurred 2 years ago. See you later. So DeJesus strikes out, and just like that, 2 quick outs. For Sanchez, 8 strikeouts. Give you an idea of what happens with a guy like Sanchez. He has 8 strikeouts. Last year against Colorado, he struck out 7 in a row. That tied a 46-year-old San Francisco record. Ethier a fly ball to Aubrey Huff. We'll tell you about Sanchez in Colorado when we come back, and at the end of 5, 3-1 Giants. with the Houston Astros in Houston. They won that game 4-3. Todd Hollingsworth had a double with the bases loaded to drive in 3 of the 4 runs. Hollingsworth had a big year. He was Rookie of the Year. He was the 5th consecutive Rookie of the Year for the Dodgers. Let's go back to this one. Three to 1 in favor of the Giants. And ball 1 to Buster Posey. Posey hit into a double play, single to right, hitting .333. Foul ball. Buster, who meant so much to the Giants, talking about Hollingsworth being Rookie of the Year. Buster was Rookie of the Year, even though he didn't come up till May. Got that nickname Buster from his dad. His father was known as Buster. Grew up in Georgia. To say Posey comes from a small town, I guess, would be an understatement. According to numbers right through July of 2009, Leesburg, Georgia, has a population of 2,900. The median income $33,000. The average home $121,000. He was a Dean's List student with a near perfect GPA, getting a degree in finance. Went to school at Florida State, was an All-American shortstop, but the coach felt this kid has such great leadership qualities, I'm going to make him a catcher. Ground ball to the left for call. Raphael almost slipped, but he got his man. One away, and the batter will be Pat Burrell. Right about there. And then he hesitates, but he still has time to get Posey. So Billingsley has turned it around. He had that one inning in the 4th where everything was hit in the air, including the home run. Now 4 balls in a row, 3 on the ground and 1 a strikeout. And here's Burrell. Grounded to short and a long fly ball to left in the 4th inning. Ball 1. That's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Pat. Hesitates, takes a strike. 1 and 2. So Chad Billingsley trying to hang tough and hope Kemp, Thames, and Loney can do something in the bottom half. And that's going to be hooked down the left field line. Foul ball. So Burrow will have to come back and try it again. Pat had a great career with the Phillies. He played 9 years with the Phils, almost just inches missing an extra base hit. 9 years with the Phils and 2 years with the Rays. Well, really a year and a half. And then he came to San Francisco. Had a pretty good year. Hit .266, 18 home runs, 51 RBIs. No surprise, because when you look in his background, he was the Golden Spikes Award winner to the nation's outstanding amateur player, 1998. He has a great hobby. He calls it bottle cap snapping, flicking caps. He said he can get a Snapple cap and flick it 100 feet. All right. 1 and 2. And a towering pop fly. Loney in foul ground, looking up into the night. So Burrow pops it up, 2 down, and Pablo Sandoval coming up. They figure out going into this season that in his 2 previous years, Sandoval will swing at the first pitch 47% of the time. Yeah, well, hello. And that's going to be caught, juggled, dropped by Thames, and Sandoval will hold on. So Marcus gesturing to Matt Kemp, and I think he lost that thing in the lights. So he will join a long and distinguished number of outfielders to lose fly balls in the lights. Couldn't handle it. He will draw a 2-out error. And the batter is Brandon Belt. Brandon Belt did just that after striking out in the 2nd inning, and then hit the 3-run home run over the center field fence. Line drive off the glove of Loney, deflected to DeJesus, back to Loney. The old 3-4-3 play. No runs, no hits, an error, and a man left. And at the end of 5.5, 3-1, San Francisco. In his young major league career with only 1 year in the minor league. And Brandon Belt got a ball away, but he is so big and strong, extended the arms and hit it over the center field wall. So Brandon Belt. And then next time up to close out the 6th inning, he almost took Loney's glove off as he went out hard from Loney to DeJesus and back to Loney. A big night for young Brandon Belt. By the way, footnote to that, Billingsley didn't allow a home run in his last 9 starts here at Dodger Stadium. The last home runs that he had given up, and that's going to be a base hit for Kemp. For Billingsley, you had to go back to May 31st last year against the Diamondbacks. They hit 3 home runs that day, but they lost on a game-ending balk. So Matt Kemp, 2 for 3 with a double and a single. And the batter, Marcus Thames, who appeared to lose the ball, hit by Sandoval in the lights. We'll see if Kemp does anything over there, down by 2. And remember, Jonathan Sanchez has a very good move. Picked off 5. Of course, Kershaw picked off 8 last year. So he'll keep him close. Marcus Thames trying to advance Kemp. 3-1 Giants. Bottom of the 6th. There goes Kemp. And a ground ball to third. Nice pick there by Sandoval. Kemp keeps going, and he's going to be into third. And over there in the first base coaching box, Davey Lopes has got to be saying to himself, that's my boy. That's the way to do it. That's the way I did it when I played. So Matt puts on a show. Goes from first to third on a ground ball to third. So Matt Kemp is at third, 1 out, and James Loney trying to pick him up. Now remember how tough Sanchez was, as we told you earlier, against left-handers. And by the way, if you are keeping score with us, the Giants have moved the outfield around. Aubrey Huff is now in left field. Nate Schierholtz is in right. Ball 1. Loney a fly to center, grounded to first, 0 for 2. Big RBI man and a chance to pick up Kemp. 2-0 the count with Barajas on deck. Left-hand hitters had the devils of an own time with Sanchez last year. They hit 181. High fly ball into deep left field. There's Huff to make the catch. Kemp will score and jog home with a run. And that sure belongs to Matt Kemp. Going from first to third on a ground ball to third, coming home on a fly ball. So Loney does his job. Kemp did his job. And the Dodgers get closer now, 3-2 San Francisco. And what a pure joy it is to watch Kemp run. I mean, he was breaking to steal, took one look, and just flew around the bases to third. Jeff Pentland, the hitting coach, talking to Loney. But that was a Matt Kemp run. Ball 1 to Barajas. Rod singled and walked, 1 for 1. Three runs, 5 hits for the Giants. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. And that's a line drive base hit. We'll see if Barajas tries for 2. It would be doubtful. And Huff gets the ball back in. Let's take a look just to watch Matt Kemp run. It's a joy. Takes one look, hesitates, and then shifts into high and beats the throw coming over from Belt to third. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Giants, 2 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, and they're moving around now in the Giant bullpen. In the Dodger bullpen, Blake Hawksworth gets up, and we'll check the Giants in a bit. In there for a strike, Aaron Miles, who has struck out, fly to center. Hector Jimenez is out on deck. He would bat for Billingsley. One and one. Two out, Barajas at first, 3-2 Giants. Miles trying to move him around. Bouncing a fastball, trying to keep the ball down. In the Giant bullpen, they have left-hander Dan Runzler and right-hander old friend Guillermo Mota. Sanchez has made 91 pitches. Fouled away. 2-2 the count to Aaron Miles. Aaron playing third base. Jamie Carroll had stuck a finger on a ball in spring training, was having trouble throwing, although the word is he could play third. He could be able to make the long throw from third to first, but Miles gets the shot tonight. Little roller up along third, barehanded by Sandoval. The throw gets away from Belt. Into second goes Miles. Stopping at third is Barajas. And the Dodgers have runners at second and third with 2 outs. So Sandoval charging a little nubber. It will probably be 1-1, a base hit and a throwing error. There's the barehand effort, the off-balance throw, but it's bounced. No way Belt could have gotten it. So Miles moves to second, Barajas to third. So I would expect single and throwing error charged to Sandoval. So second and third, 2 out, and Hector Jimenez will be coming up, and it is 1-1. And now we'll see if Bruce Bochy makes a move here with Sanchez. 93 pitches, and Bochy wants to make sure there's some gas in the tank, and he is reassured. Hector Jimenez spells that last name with a G, and he'll be batting for Chad Billingsley. He's from Venezuela. He's been a fella in the minor leagues for the last 9 years. He was originally signed at 16 by the Astros. He was a real long shot in spring training, and he did so well that he made the ball club. A switch hitting catcher. He can also play first base. Double-A. He hit well, but this is a long way from Double-A. And here is Hector Jimenez. 0-1. One of the things that has kept him in the minor leagues a long time, he doesn't have great discipline at the plate. So he went after that first pitch. Second and third, Barajas and Miles. For Jimenez, this is not his major league debut. He was actually in 2 games for the Astros 5 years ago. So in 9 years in the minor leagues, it produced 2 games in the big leagues. Oh and 1. Sanchez has now made 94 pitches. And Posey will go out and talk to Sanchez. Meanwhile, Chad Billingsley listening to Rick Honeycutt and the pitching coach gesturing earlier about keeping the ball down. And the one inning where he had trouble keeping the ball down was the 4th inning when the fly balls occurred. And he gave up 2 singles and a home run. Turned right around to get ground balls again. So he did get burned, and the Dodgers now trying to salve the wounds. Brandon Belt took him downtown for the 3-run home run, which is the one big swing in the game so far. 0-1 to Hector Jimenez. See that? That's the thing. Just swinging at the pitch in the dirt. Of course, he's also fighting butterflies, I'm sure. He'll be 29, and that's been his history. Very aggressive from Venezuela. 0-2. Off the rubber. Barajas came down the line a little bit. That kind of upset Sanchez. 0-2. In the dirt, Posey doing a very good job. Wild pitch here gets the Dodgers even. So Billingsley now becomes a spectator along with Xavier Paul. Barajas the tying run at third. Miles at second. 2 out. 1-2 to Hector Jimenez. Everything low, a chopper to Sanchez, who drops the ball. The tying run scores, and there are runners at first and third. That would be the second Giant error, and they've made 5 errors now in 2 games. Little dribbler, he's got it, drops it, loses the play. On the play, Barajas scores. Taking third is Miles. Taking first is Jimenez. That means, among other things, Billingsley is off the hook, and Bochy heading for the mound, and that's going to do it. 5 errors in 2 games for the Giants. 5 errors, really, in 14 2/3 innings. Guillermo Mota will be coming in, and we'll be back. Coming out, having worked 5 2/3, gives up 3 runs, and of course the third run breaks his heart as he drops a dribbler for what would have been the third out. 2 earned runs, struck out 8, and now could have the Dodgers take the lead at his expense as Guillermo Mota begins to warm up. Guillermo Mota is out of the Dominican. You may remember he was with the Dodgers back in 2002 and left in the middle of 2004. Eventually came back to the Dodgers in 2009. And last year had an ERA over 4 and was 1-3. Mota was born in 1973. So he is a veteran indeed, hailing from San Pedro de Macorís. So Aaron Miles is at third. Hector Jimenez at first. He had some bad hacks at some balls in the dirt, but he got away with it. And now Billingsley could even steal a win if Furcal can get him out in front. And ball 1. Looking at Guillermo Mota going head to head with Rafael Furcal. Furcal has a home run against him and hit .267. Mota 6'6", has a line drive base hit. Scoring is Miles, stopping at second Jimenez, and the Dodgers have come from behind to lead 4-3. For call 2 for 4 as he drives in Miles from third base. Stopping at second is Jimenez. And the batter will be Ivan De Jesus. So Rafael Furcal, the old pro, comes up with a hit which could pin the loss on Sanchez and give the victory to Billingsley. But there's still a long way to go. We're only in the bottom of the 6th inning. So the batter now, De Jesus, with 2 on, 2 out. De Jesus has struck out twice and walked. Like a slider, 0-1 the count. Jonathan Sanchez will think about that little dribbler from Hector Jimenez that he just couldn't glove and make the play. For Billingsley, it was a Christmas morning gift. 0-1. Fastball for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Jimenez and Furcal out there on the lines. 0-2. Slider just off the plate. 1-2. Mota was in 56 games last year. Pitched in 54 innings. One and 2 to young De Jesus. Down he goes. So De Jesus strikes out 3 times tonight in his major league debut. But the Dodgers score 3, and at the end of 6 lead the Giants 4-3. Back to show the Dodgers how the Dodgers played in his day, and they especially concentrated Lopes with Matt Kemp. And in 2 nights you can see the difference. When the pitch got away at the plate, it was Matt Kemp who draws a bad throw from Butch Posey and comes in to score. And then in the 8th inning, Kemp is going, a bounce throw, and he has stolen second base, and that's cashed in when James Loney doubles to pick him up with what turned out to be the winning run. Tonight it's Matt Kemp on his way to steal second, and on a ground ball to third just keeps on going to third base. So he's in position for Loney's fly ball to get him home, and the Dodgers score 3 in the inning, led by Matt Kemp. So it's 4-3 Dodgers in the 7th inning, and now we're looking at Blake Hawksworth out of Sammamish, Washington, born in British Canada. Blake 4-8 last year, pitched with the Cardinals, before that with several other teams. The bunt attempt on the chalk. They'll let it roll, and it is going to stay fair. So Miguel Tejada, Miggy as they call him, opens up with a bunt single here in the 7th inning. Second bunt single. Remember, Torres had one in the very first inning. Another note as the ball stays fair. Jamie Carroll is now at second base, taking over for Ivan De Jesus. Mike Fontenot will be coming up, and he will bat in Mota's spot.
For the Giants, batting for Mota, number 14, Mike Fontenot.
So Mike Fontenot off the bench. Last year hit .283 out of Louisiana. Ryan Theriot and Mike Fontenot went together for a while at LSU, the double play combination. That's in for a strike, in the count 0-1. Fontenot's first at bat in the young year. Runs well enough, doesn't steal a lot of bases, but he's pretty good speed. Out of Slidell, Louisiana. 0-1. Fouled away. Blake Hawksworth, 28 years old, on the mound, out of British Columbia from North Vancouver, originally drafted by the Cardinals and finally made it in 2009 and then again last year. Oh, and 2 the count. Hawksworth has been a pro for 9 years. He was impressive in the spring. He was the Cardinals minor league pitcher of the year back in 2006. Ryan Theriot went to the Cardinals for Blake Hawksworth. Left-handers gave him a bad time last year. Nice block by Barajas. Last year, left-handers hit .304 against him with 9 home runs. Right-handers hit .315. About 7 years ago, he underwent surgery to repair a partially torn labrum and remove loose cartilage in the arm. 1-2 the count. Tejada, soon to be 37, still moves around pretty well on the bases. Four 3 Dodgers, top of the 7th inning. Tejada the tying run at first. Ground ball to Loney, down to Furcal, who has to do a toe dance to stay on the bag. Loney almost threw it away. That is a very tough play for a first baseman because the runner is in his way. So if you're the first baseman, you try to get an angle so you don't hit the runner in the back, and in doing that, sometimes you get it outside the bag, and there's the toe dance. Just got back on it in time. So Fontenot hits into the force play. And the batter is Andre Torres. Bunted for a single. Line to single to left. Bunted for an out. 2 for 3. And that's a strike. Fontenot, although he can run well, does not steal bases. In the low minors, sure, 15, 14, but the high in the big leagues, 5. So he doesn't figure to be a running threat, but they could be playing hit and run. 0-1 to count. Torres opened up the game with a bunt single. 4 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers, 3 runs, 6 hits for the Giants. We're in the 7th. 0-2 to Andres Torres. Freddie Sanchez on deck. Torres known for his speed, but remember he had 16 home runs last year, and Hawksworth had a bad time against both left and right-handers. Down he goes. So Hawksworth picks up his strikeout. Pitch was up and outside, so that would have been a ball. So the batter now, Freddie Sanchez, hit by a pitch, walked, and grounded out. Freddie a very tough out. On deck hitting back of him, Aubrey Huff. Dodgers led 1-0. Giants led 3-1. Dodgers lead 4-3. That's a strike. 0-1. Hawksworth said he learned a great lesson when he was in high school. He didn't attend classes. He got kind of arrogant, thinking that, oh, I'll get drafted. I'm doing well. And that was one of his biggest regrets, checking himself out of high school. But he's made it to the big leagues. 0-1 to Freddie. Fastball hit into left field, base hit. Thames gets it back in. So Sanchez comes up with a base hit. He's 1 for 2. Fontenot is now at second base. And Aubrey Huff coming up. So after Tejada led off with the bunt single, Fontenot swinging away hit into a force play. But it's just like the Giants did last night. You bunt to tie at home. In the dirt. Nice block by Barajas. 2 on, 2 out. 7th inning, 4-3 Dodgers. Aubrey hit into a force play and struck out twice. You have Fontenot at second, Sanchez at first. With a left-hand hitter up there, Rafael Furcal way over to his left, and although he's on the rim, he'll be bird dogging that runner for sure to try and take a step or 2 away from him, which certainly would pay off on a play at the plate. 2-0. 2-1. Pretty good changeup that time. Hawksworth with a fastball, curve, slider, and change. Aubrey 0 for 3 tonight. 1 for 4 last night. Just missed inside. So now 1 pitch away from loading him up, and Buster Posey on deck. bouncing ball 4 to load him up as Barajas goes back to get it. So Hawksworth now has loaded the bases as he bounces one for ball 4. So Huff goes to first. Freddie Sanchez to second. Mike Fontenot, the tying run, is now 90 feet away at third. And Buster Posey coming up. Hitting after Posey is a left-hand hitter, Nate Sherholz. Buster Posey, the rookie of the year last year. He stole the hearts of everybody in San Francisco. Last year he had 67 RBIs and 18 home runs. He also hit .305. So that causes a big meeting. Matt Guerrier down in the bullpen. The Guerrier tuning up, and we will see. The plate umpire, Lance Barksdale, is going to go out and try to speed things along. Rick Honeycutt holding court. Last year, Posey had a grand slam. It was against Milwaukee. All right, Honeycutt has instructed Blake Hawksworth. You have Huff, Sanchez, and Fontenot out on the lines. 2 outs, 7th inning. Dodgers 4, Giants 3. Posey is grounded into a double play, single to right, grounded out. He singled leading off the 4th, and that led eventually to Belt's 3-run home run. Breaking ball on the corner for a strike. 0-1. Fastball. That thing was clocked at 95, so the high hard one was right there. Let her high, and he let it fly. 0-2 the count to Posey, who struck out 55 times last year. Crowd on its feet now trying to help Blake Hawksworth. Ball 1. So Huff at first, Sanchez at second, Fontenot at third. 2 out, 4-3 Dodgers, 7th inning. One and 2. Slider. 2-2. At third base, the tying run, Mike Fontenot. Then Freddie Sanchez at second, Aubrey Huff at first. 2-2. The deuce is certainly wild here. Fastball fouled away. Big moment in a big ball game. Dodgers, Loney, Carroll for Call and Miles, Thames, Kemp, and Ethier. Barajas behind the plate. And Posey up there with standing room only on the base pad. 2 balls and 2 strikes. High with the fastball, ball 3. Well, I would guess everybody in the ballpark is looking fastball. It will be interesting, the pitch selection here. 3-2, 2 down. All the runners ready to go. Off the rubber. Maybe not quite sure. Let's shuffle the cards again. And Barajas is doing just that. 3-2. Runners go. Fastball. Back going into the stands, and Posey strikes out. Blake Hawksworth goes to the fastball at 95 to strike out Buster Posey, who was so badly fooled he lost his bat. And that thing, like a runaway propeller, went into the stands. So the Dodgers get out of it. And at the end of 6.5, 4-3 Dodgers. And we'll have the crowd.
Anthem for the Dodgers at age 9. Accompanied by Nancy B. Please welcome Ellie Smith.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Ellie Smith.
Out of a scrape in the top of the 7th with Buster Posey swinging and missing, and they bring in left-hander Dan Runzler. Dan, somewhat of a local boy, born in Riverside, went to UC Riverside, and was signed by the Giants 4 years ago. Came up in 09 and last year, and ground ball hard to Belt. And that takes care of Ethier, who is now 0 for 4. Let's take a look at the 7 pitches to Buster Posey with the bases loaded in the battle between Posey and Hawksworth. Curveball for a strike. Fastball in a hole. Then a high fastball. Then another breaking ball. Then a fastball fouled off. A high fastball, and they go 3-2, and the fastball is missed, and the bat goes into the stands. Posey grows up a little bit more. It is a new year. For Blake Hawksworth, quite a battle with the Rookie of the Year from last year. And 3-2, bases loaded, 2 out. I guess everybody in the park looked fastball, and it was a fastball for strike 3. Ethier grounding out, and now Matt Kemp, who has a double and a single. The double knocked in a run, and then his single he cashed in on his rather adventuresome base running, going from first to third on a ground ball to third. Dan Runsler and Steve Klein was his tutor. You might remember Steve Klein, good pitcher in the big leagues. Klein convinced Runsler, don't give the hitters too much credit. Just go after them. Dan is 6'4", 215. Just turned 26 the other day. Day before yesterday. Fastball grounded to third. The long throw by Sandoval on the money. So 2 down, and Marcus Thames coming up. You know, you can follow the Dodgers with the MLB.com at Bat 11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit Dodgers.com. Marcus Thames broke his bat, hit a little pop fly, had a little English on it. Freddie Sanchez tried to barehand and throw on the grass, couldn't do it. Struck out, grounded out since, now cracks his bat and hits one to Freddie that can be caught. So you could hear that thing crack up here. So the Dodgers go very quickly in the 7th. Brandon Belt will be the 3rd hitter in the 8th inning. It's 4-3 Dodgers. Led 1-0 in the 3rd. Giants scored 3 times in the 4th on a 3-run home run by Brandon Belt, and the Dodgers scratched for 3 in the 6th inning to take a lead. So the Dodgers trying to hold on, bring in Matt Guerrier. Matt's out of Cleveland, Ohio, lives in Shaker Heights. He was originally drafted by the White Sox out of Kent State. Pitched in the Venezuelan Winter League and has worked his way up to where he became a member of the Twins in 2004. He was with the Twins from 04 through last year. 6'3", about 195. He'll be 33 in August. And he'll be facing Nat Schierholtz. And there's a little bit of a surprise as Schierholtz takes a strike. Nat, when he first came up to the big leagues, was one of those rare players who never wore a batting glove. Well, now he wears 2 gloves, one on each hand. 0-2. Batting gloves have been around a while. I can remember when we were back in Brooklyn, I had a friend of mine named Danny Lawler who was a golf pro, and he worked for Izod. You know, the sporting goods company with the little alligator as a logo. And Danny Lawler gave Bobby Thompson of the New York Giants and of the famous home run, he gave Bobby a batting glove and said, you ought to use these. Golf pros use a batting glove. They take the glove off when they putt, but otherwise they use a glove. So Bobby would wear the batting glove, but he only wore it in batting practice and spring training. He wouldn't wear it during the game. Slowly and surely guys were wearing batting gloves, but only in batting practice. Finally, and this is a guess, but it might have been Ken Harrelson with the White Sox back around 63, 64. Ken, I believe, might have been the first player to use a batting glove. But it all goes back to Danny Lawler, an old pro who gave a glove to Bobby Thompson. 1949. Here's Sandoval. There are a couple of things that might amaze you in trying to think back. I was thinking the last couple of days, what's different? The batting glove is reasonably different. The helmet in the 50s. You know what might shock you? Until 1953, in that season, you know players left their gloves on the field? Did you know that? Shot up the middle, right between the legs of Guerrier, and the tying runs aboard as Sandoval singles. Now Brandon Belt struck out, hit a 3-run home run, and hit a bullet off Loney's glove that James turned into an out with the help of DeJesus. That home run over the center field fence, his first big league home run in his second big league game. Not bad for a guy with just 1 year in the minor leagues. One out, 4-3 Dodgers in the 8th. Right. You might say, what do you mean they left their gloves on the field? Yeah, they did. If you were the third baseman or the first baseman, the inning would end, you'd throw your glove in foul ground. Shortstop, second baseman, they'd scale their gloves out into the shallow outfield area. The catcher and the pitcher would walk off with their gloves. The outfielders would drop their gloves. 1-1. And because players left their gloves, the other team used to do some mighty nasty tricks. I know Phil Rizzuto once put a dead rat in the glove of the opposing shortstop. Oh yeah, they were full of that. And I know one game in Ebbets Field, I don't know who the Dodger was, they put a small snake in the glove of the shortstop. And that they left gloves on the field until the end of 1953. And you know what? I don't ever remember of anything happening where a game was lost, somebody stepped on a glove, slipped or whatever. Nope. 1-1. 2-1. Brandon Belt struck out, hit a 3-run home run, and a hard ground ball out in the 6th inning. Tying run, Sandoval at first. 2-2. Waiting on deck, Miguel Tejada. Sandoval last year, in case you wondered, stole 3 bases, but he weighed around 270, or at least 260. Drive to center. There's Matt Kemp. Comes up with it. So Brandon Belt, line drive out. Nice play for Matt Kemp. Holding at first is Sandoval. And with 2 out, here's Miguel Tejada. Tejada grounded to third, flied to right, bunted for a base hit in the 7th inning. That's when the Giants loaded the bases with 2 out, only to have Buster Posey strike out during a 7-pitch at bat. Strike. Mark DeRosa, who appeared as a pinch hitter last night and walked, comes out on deck now. He would bat for Runzler if given the opportunity. Oh, 0-1 to Tejada. And a high pop fly for Call looking. And here comes Gwynn. So Tejada fly ball to left. No runs, 1 hit. A man left. Good catch by Kemp. And we're heading to the bottom of the 8th. 4-3 Dodgers. Three lead. Here's the box score. For Call is 2 for 4. Kemp 2 for 4 and running the bases, making a fine catch as well. Loney, a fly ball just when it counted, and Barajas a couple of singles scoring a run, as with Aaron Miles. Dan Runzler is in there. He'll be pitching to James Loney, then Rod Barajas and Aaron Miles. Matt Guerrier made 13 pitches to retire the side in the 8th inning. Loney comes up there swinging. 0-1. Foul ball. Runzley, as we said, from Riverside, went to UC Riverside. He went to Chaminade High School in West Hills, and he learned to love the game watching people like Gary Peters, Joe Hornan, Tommy John. 0-2. His dad, as so many, had a great influence on him. His dad told him to focus on the journey, not the destination. Little fly ball back a third down the line. A trio of Giants. Sandoval. Boy, a wonderful play, especially on the road. One thing to know the territory like the Music Man. Great concentration. He never took his eye off the ball. Wonderful play. It's you and me and the ball, brother. Don't care where the tarp roller is or where the stands are. And he stays with it. Wonderful play. One away. The Panda makes the move. Rod Barajas bidding for a perfect night. 2 singles on the walk, scored a run. That's a strike. When the Giants come up in the 9th inning, Runzler is due to lead off, and we've already seen Mark DeRosa out on deck. Mile high fly ball. Tejada out. Coming in is Huff. Aubrey Huff. 2 down. We have the paid attendance. 44,834. 44,834. Aaron Miles. 1 for 3. Honeycutt talking to the bullpen. Jonathan Broxton is down there getting ready. 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for the Giants. One of them a killer. The error charged to Sanchez in that wild 6th inning. Check swing. Slow roller. Sandoval. So the Dodgers go quietly. The last 7 in a row retired. And we're heading for the 9th. Jonathan Broxton will be coming in, trying to hold on to a 4-3 lead. 4-3 Dodgers. Ninth inning. Jonathan Broxton had to protect the lead last night and just did get by. And with the Iron Man, sung by Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath, dying off in the distance, it's set again for Jonathan to try and close it up. Mark DeRosa, a veteran, former quarterback at the University of Pennsylvania, will start it off hitting for Runzler, and it's a strike. 0-1. Mark DeRosa, 36 years old. First came up to the big leagues in '98 with Atlanta, so he's been around. 0-2 the count. So it'll be DeRosa followed by Torres and Sanchez. No balls, 2 strikes. Got him. Fastball. See you later. So DeRosa comes up and goes down on 3. 1 away. For the Dodgers, Chad Billingsley had 5 strikeouts. Hawksworth had 2 strikeouts. Guerrier had 1. And now Broxton comes in with a strikeout. So 9 Giants have gone down. 10 went out on strikes yesterday. And here's Torres. 2 for 4. Bunted for a base hit. Single to left. Bunted again and was thrown out. And last time up, struck out. 4-3 Dodgers. Top of the 9th. 1 away. And that's going to be hit into the gap. Ethier on the dead run to pick it off. Andre Ethier got a good jump, and the ball started to slide towards him, so it became catchable, kind of a room service fly ball. And now Freddie Sanchez with his foot in the door as the Dodgers try to make it 2 in a row. Remember earlier last year, the Dodgers won 5 of the first 6 meetings with the Giants before the All-Star game. And then the Giants turned it around and won 9 of the last 12. Ball 1 to Freddie. Hit by a pitch, walk, grounded out, and singled. In there. 1-1. 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. 3 runs provided by the 3-run home run by Brandon Belt. 8 hits and 2 errors for the Giants. The second error, the killer, the error by Jonathan Sanchez. Just missed. 2-1. Took a former batting champ to take that pitch. Aubrey Huff on deck. On the hands, a little flare to Loney. So Broxton comes in, joining the exploits of Matt Kemp on the base paths, and the Dodgers have beaten the Giants 2 in a row. Broxton came in and made 9 pitches to set him down in order. Buster Posey had a rough night. Last year's Rookie of the Year hit into a double play in the first inning and then struck out on a 7-pitch at bat with the bases loaded in the 7th. And Don Mattingly starts off his career as the Dodger manager by winning 2 in a row. The last Dodger manager to win 3 in a row, starting with Davey Johnson. So stay tuned. A reminder for Dodgers Live. That'll be coming up next. And we will wish you all a very pleasant good evening.